Welcome to the channel. My name is Matthias. Today we're going to talk about Uncanny X-Men issues 508 to 511, written by Matt Fraction, and jaw-dropping art by Greg Land. And I've talked about this artist many times before, about many of his tropes. Here they're all on display and taken to 11. For example, him swiping himself within the same story, within the context of the same story arc. He copies his own drawings. Or everyone looks like they're in a toothpaste commercial because they're always sort of like posing and smiling. Or they look super horny because he's using reference from pornographic movies. It is not to say that every once in a while you do get some pretty awesome panels. Another thing about Greg Land's work is that if you can skip out in drawing a face and doing it in the shadows, he's going to do it. Now, for the story itself, I have to say that they have some really interesting ideas. This could have been totally epic, but they dropped the ball pretty hard on it. In a prior story arc, what had happened is that we have the return of the Goblin Queen. She has put together a pretty badass team of evil bitches. Oh, and that's another thing about this story. Greg Land has a profound need, a necessity of drawing women with gigantic boobs. Those ladies must be dealing with some major back pain because they have those big boobies and they have that very slim waist. So the story actually starts off with Domino. She's in Japan. Wolverine has asked her to take flowers to her grave. When she arrives to the cemetery, she crosses paths with Goblin Queen's forces. Now, I forgot to mention the team that she had put together. So we're dealing with Spiral, Lady Deathstrike. There's this woman that can control these like green psionic dragons that I think her name was Chimera. I've only seen her once or twice prior to the story. She's also working with both Lady Masterminds. So what happens is Domino tries to stop them from stealing this coffin, but they're able to escape, and Domino gets back to Wolverine and tells him, look, they stole the coffin of the person that you told me I had to take the flowers. That's when we discover that this grave is actually Quanon's tomb. So that's actually pretty cool of Wolverine, that he had been sending flowers to this grave ever since she died of the legacy virus. Also, for those who don't know, Quanon was the person who Betsy Braddock, when she went through the siege, she switched minds with. It's comic books, it happens. But the thing is, Quanon in the 90s wanted her body back, and she had a brief little confrontation with the X-Men. And then during this time, she contracted the legacy virus. She dies. So what happens is the Goblin Queen had kidnapped Psylocke to use her life essence to jumpstart and bring back Quanon back from the dead. They actually put in a lot of focus on the return of Quanon in this story at the beginning, and then she does not play an important role in it by any means. She's sort of just there in the story. I guess they just want to emphasize on the fact that Goblin Queen has become more adept in magic and has more necromancer type of powers. Now, this era of X-Men was sort of like a weird time. They're in San Francisco, but they're not in Utopia yet. Their base of operations would be Grey Malakin Industries. So we also get during this time that Wolverine approaches North Star, tells him, look, we need a speedster. It's sort of odd that during this time, North Star, instead of flying very fast, he runs very fast. I'm not sure what's the deal. He becomes more of a Quicksilver knockoff, because North Star on a personality level, not only with his powers, he's just an arrogant asshole all the time. They really make a point, the fact that he's gay and that they're in San Francisco, that he's sort of like the token gay guy on the team, and that he's going to become like the team's spokesman for a while. And he doesn't take too kindly to this. He's like, look, I'm just a superhero, I do my thing. At least we get the resolution over the fact that Wolverine felt really bad that he killed North Star prior to this, earlier in the 2000s. So at least they get to resolve their differences. There's a lot of emphasis in these issues on the fact that the X-Men are acting as straight up superheroes in the city, fighting against crime. They're also obviously the protectors of San Francisco against any outside threats. Then the story jumps to Goblin Queen's Sisterhood attacking the X-Men. They're trying to find something at their base. Now, the battle that we get is actually very well done. I gave Land a lot of grief, but he's able to convey a great deal of violence in this confrontation. The Sisterhood is out for blood, and especially they really take it out on Wolverine. They're actually trying to find something that Logan has kept hidden away for a long time. And actually what happens is Cyclops asks Wolverine what the hell were they looking for? What is the artifact that almost led to almost all of the younger members of the X-Men getting killed? And what ends up happening is Wolverine spills the beans and tells him, look, I had a lock of Jean Grey's hair. Because what we discover is that the Goblin Queen doesn't actually have a physical body. She's like a pure manifestation of psionic energy and magic. With this lock of hair, she's going to be able to find Jean Grey's tomb, which seems to be secret. And she's going to reanimate her corpse and use it as a new host body. And here's where the story takes a left turn to Shitsville. Because what happens is the Sisterhood find Jean Grey's tomb. Goblin Queen tries to enact the spell to bring her back, take over her body. The spell backfires and the Goblin Queen seemingly dies again. Because just out of luck, what had happened is Domino was within the vicinity of this graveyard. They had contacted her, so she had gone to Jean Grey's tomb, dug her out, found another redhead, put her into the tomb. It feels so convoluted and poorly executed, this part of the story. But we're going to leave it here. I hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time. Bye.